happy, I don't even know what today is, Tuesday for us. We are so excited to be back to go over the first real chapter in the Power of Five network marketing book we're going over that John Maxwell wrote. And we really appreciate the feedback and all of you that plugged in to watch video one. If you are getting this and have not watched the first video, I highly recommend you go back and watch it. We kind of go over all of the amazing aspects of network marketing and what it's done for our lives and why we love this industry so much. So I feel like it's such a great base and a great place to start. But this week, we get to move into the true chapter one, and that is about the power of growth. Mm-hmm. So, we've we were kind of laughing and talking. We can talk for a long time because thinking back on when we all met in college, there's definitely been a lot of growth since those days, but definitely even in our network marketing business, there has been a lot of growth. And as I was telling these girls, I experienced some personal just rejuvenation when it came to plugging back into personal growth and reminding myself that I'll never stop growing and never need to stop growing, and listen to some awesome podcasts. I'll talk about that a little bit more throughout this call, but growth is something I never want to stop doing, and I often forget or push it back as life gets busy. But luckily, we are in an industry that, in a sense, forces growth and encourages it and gives us so many tools and tricks and tips and resources to help us consistently be growing as leaders, as people, everything. So do you guys have any personal thoughts or stories on growth?
Well, Laura, one of the first few things he says in one of the first few paragraphs, which really hit home, is that personal growth is a silent investment. People don't see you're doing it. They don't know you're doing it, but it's so valuable that we do. And it's really one of the few things I would say in network marketing that's completely on ourself, that personal growth can't involve your team. Your personal growth will positively affect your team, but he just says it's a silent investment. It doesn't speak up. It only shows up. And that was really powerful because, much like you said, we've all had seasons where that's been the first thing to go to the back burner. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that book. I don't have time for that conference. Yet we're in an industry that truly compensates us for the own personal growth that we have. And if we all look at our original careers and you listening, what your current career, your previous career was, it wasn't part of the plan. There are some corporate jobs that certainly encourage personal growth. But I know for me in healthcare and in medicine, the only thing you were required to do was continuing education each year. Just a minimum amount of hours to renew your license, the money it takes to renew your license, and that was it. They did not care how you were as a human. And if you think about how cool personal development would be in healthcare, it'd bless everybody. So coming into network marketing and being a huge part of it by way of events, podcasts, books, camaraderie with the team, it's really powerful. And I love that John decided for this to be the first of the Power of Five. And the first topic, he dove into. So Charles, coming from and being in a high-powered job in corporate America, is personal growth part of what your company believes in and does, or would you say no?
I think in my case, not so much. Other companies absolutely really embrace personal growth. But one thing that I think is so interesting, specific to network marketing, is that we're getting paid to be, to go through that personal growth. And you touched on that in regards to the compensation plan. The other thing that I wrote down that I think was really powerful that John actually said when we were back in Atlanta was growth is the only guarantee that tomorrow your future and you are better. And when you look at corporate America, you can do all the personal growth in the world, but does that mean you're going to get a promotion or a pay raise? No. In network marketing, you absolutely can increase your income by having that personal growth factor in your day-to-day.
Good point.
So
yeah.
Very good point. It's more of who you know in corporate America, right?
Yeah.
Well, and funny you say that. That moves us into point one in a way, because they talk about the fact that when it comes to growth, others are ahead of you. So we all do better when we have better people around us. But I love that when in this network marketing environment, anytime I've ever connected with, talked to, learned from somebody who's gone and done what I want to do or has, paved the way in a sense, they're so kind and humble and wanting to give back because someone went first and gave to them. So I feel like there's just such a beautiful cycle of giving when it comes to surrounding yourself with people who've done what you have what you want to do. And it's so important to surround yourself with people who are more successful, who've done more, who've been other places, and it really will help you move further. So being intentional about that. I know that I would try really hard to go up and introduce myself to a leader if they spoke and just tell them what I loved about what I learned from them. Or, you know, if I had the opportunity to get to know someone who was at a higher rank or a higher level than me, I would take time to get to know them as people and not just badger them with questions, but also be intentional about trying to spend some time around them and see how they act, what they do, and learn from them in that process.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that, again, bringing it, because I can have the corporate aspect to that. And for those of you on the call that do have a corporate job, like something that I think is super important that Laura touched on is the people around you. And what I can say that I've experienced from a corporate level is leaders aren't necessarily like reaching down to help people up. And in network marketing, the feeling is so different. So leaders don't want you to reinvent the wheel. They want you to, you know, walk the path they've already done, or if they've made a mistake, they're willing to admit that so you can learn from their mistake as well. So surrounding yourself by those people and others ahead of you is more of a positive than what you would see in corporate America.
Oh, absolutely. And this is the point where he shares, and you guys remember him talking about this in Atlanta, about his learning lunches and how frequently he has a learning lunch. And I love that just the name he gives to it. But in this chapter, he provides us with the 7 questions that he actually asks these people. So he tries to learn from people that are smarter, have a bigger organization, have gone before him, maybe more degrees, whatever it might be. Sorry, my dog is just driving me nuts in the background. I'm so sorry. And that this is a good challenge, and it's a challenge we have for you all this week, is to schedule your very first learning lunch in the next week or two. And it's so powerful when you reach out to someone and just say, hey, can we get coffee? Hey, can I just borrow a few minutes of your time, buy them lunch? And remember when he was sharing this at the event, he said he doesn't even eat. He just moves the food on his plate because he's too talking and listening and asking questions, that's just a means to getting that person across from you. So I think that's a good challenge for all of us to do this week, is have a learning lunch.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, number 2.
Number 2, challenging. Yeah. You're always challenged. And I think so often we look at challenges as a negative, but anyone that really wants to build a successful business needs to embrace challenge. And I love, he has this highlighted on page 20, but it's everything worthwhile is uphill. No one has ever coasted to success. No one has ever had accidental achievements. You must climb to the top of the mountain. You climb to have great relationships. You climb to build a business. You climb to grow. That's something I found true in my marriage. That's something I found true in parenting. And that's something I found definitely true in network marketing. We were just talking about it a little bit ago. There's always going to be challenges. And he says, expect challenges. If it's easy, you should get queasy, because what comes easy won't last, and what lasts long won't come easy. Amen.
Yes. We're sitting here, we have all been in this organization for 5 years. We know it's not easy, but we know how worth it is. And the willingness to lean into those challenges is what's going to make you a better leader, better mentor, better coach to your team and to your customers. Absolutely. That's good. Chelsea, want to move on to number 3?
Yeah, your focus is forward. So what I think with network marketing, what it really does is it allows us to cast a vision. And Laura, I know you want to speak a little bit on the podcast that you heard yesterday in regards to vision, but I'll always bring the corporate side to it. You really don't have a vision of what's next. Like, you're responsible for the next step that you take in an organization, and nothing's guaranteed. And I think, again, bringing it back to network marketing in this book, your focus is forward, is really identifying what that looks like ahead of you. You know, he says here, you're not leaving something, you're going to something, a business that will add value to you and those around you. So always focusing forward and what's next. It can also be something that you have to really keep in check as well, because if you're anything like me, you're like, okay, on to the next. You create a goal, you conquer it, you're on to the next. You really need to marinate in what those achievements are, maybe set small milestones for yourself going forward. But in terms of number 3 and focusing forward, I think it's something that you don't see in really any other industry at the level you do in network marketing.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the paragraph where he says activity is not accomplishment, that if you're just doing tasks to do tasks, I'm like, oh, guilty of that, like often. I think because we all know as entrepreneurs or owning our own businesses or working from home, the mindless tasks are like the most easiest to do, what we do first, sometimes the most rewarding, so you cross it right off the list. But the activity in and of itself is not accomplishment. And I don't know, that stirred my soul a little bit because I've been guilty of that in so many seasons in Isagenix. Sure.
So then he goes on to say, focus on results, because the results are what, we can work backwards from and figure out what those tasks need to be. So when we're always wanting to move forward and focusing on improving our results, then those tasks become meaningful. And I really like that. So it's just stay focused. And I love this sentence. You began this journey to improve your life and the lives around you, period. Do not let anything deter your focus or energy from what you have set out to accomplish. So there's so often life will get in the way, as we've all experienced, but it's continually honing in our focus and moving that forward, because that's the only way we're going to continue to improve in our business.
Yes.
Yes, I know. The atmosphere is affirming. Holy moly. All you need to do is come to one of our events and you'll experience that. So positive and
my computer just rang. Sorry. Okay. Go on.
But I think that there's not much we really need to say here other than if you are a part of a company, you just need to plug in and you need to be a part of that atmosphere, and you need to make sure you are continually going to events, that you are surrounding yourself with other people in that same mind space. And he just said, one of the most remarkable things about network marketing is that people within your organization want you to be successful. Why? Because when you win, everyone in the company wins. Your success is everyone's success. There's very few businesses that can ever say that. And you feel that vibe the minute you walk in.
Well, and if we're being really real, there's some direct selling and network marketing companies who don't have that vibe either. And I know for all of us on this call, and those that are in organizations that have such a team atmosphere, and that the mutual feeling that everybody wins is very important. And I've learned priceless since, we've learned so much more about this industry since starting 5 years ago. And that, continue to value people, believe in people, and see the best in people. It's easy to do in our industry, for sure.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add to that. I would just say one thing. He starts off this section with who brings the best out of you and how do they do it. And I think that one thing that I wrote down while we were in Atlanta is people are either subtractors or they add value to your life. And that's what you constantly find in network marketing in regards to the atmosphere, which goes along with this subsection. Is the atmosphere is affirming, and it just is uplifting in the sense that the majority of people that you run into in this industry are always going to add value, and they're not going to be subtractors.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I like that.
Number 5.
Subtractors ever.
No, yeah.
Adders, yes. You are out of your comfort zone. Yes, I definitely spent many, many, many years inside my comfort zone. Mm-hmm. Why I was living a life I did not want to live. Mm-hmm. And once I embraced stepping out of my comfort zone, which still takes work and still is hard, but is still one of the things I'm most thankful for that network marketing forces me to continue to do. I grow, good things happen, I meet amazing people, we're blessed with more income, all the good things come outside your comfort zone. So I'm grateful that this pushes me there.
Absolutely. Well, we get compensated to step out of that comfort zone for sure. But I think it's the inner dialogue. I think I speak for all of us when I say still to this day, I was at an event on Saturday, an event where I knew I'd be meeting a lot of new people, training and speaking at it briefly. I had to travel out of state for it. And you have that dialogue in your head, like, gosh, I'm so nervous. I don't want to do this. Why am I here? What am I even doing here? Will I add value? Who am I going to meet? Anyone of value. And then, you walk away from that experience like, that was the best day ever. I'm proud of who I met. I'm proud of stepping up out of my comfort zone. I could have easily have canceled and not done it at all, right? Even if it's a small event in your hometown, you don't want to put your heels on that night. You'd rather be in your sweats at home. But we step out of that comfort zone. So we have to win the dialogue internally every single time to get out of our comfort zone. And although it can get easier, it's still a factor. 5 years in and it's still a total factor for me. So I don't want anyone new in this organization or industry to think that, I can go through that and someday it will all be easy, but you just get better at working through it. Does that make sense? Anyway.
Yeah.
And then he talked about strengths, and I know that, Laura, from the beginning, you set up this notion and this training and coaching that we all had in our strengths early on in this industry. And not only knowing your own strengths, but knowing the strengths of your leaders and those around you that you work closely with. And all of us on this call have different top strengths, and we've been able to mutually benefit from each other's top strengths. And I mean, he threw that in under comfort zone, but it's just identifying what you're good at and then start getting better at what you're not great at. But that's just so important to know in others as well. So your own business partners and top leaders, for sure.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right.
I totally agree. I think he ends this section by saying, prioritize your choices to building yourself and your business. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's underline. Prioritizing is so important. And a lot of that does come with getting out of your comfort zone, because it's so easy to make that list and to put everything on there that you're immediately going to be able to have the satisfaction of crossing off, but actually adding challenges there. And he went as far as saying, when we were in Atlanta, you grow or you go. And to be the motto. You have to grow in terms of getting out of your comfort zone, for sure. Complacency is definitely the enemy. So
Word.
I love number 6. You wake up excited. That was one of the biggest shifts for me that happened when I joined a network marketing company, because I went from dreading each day to being like, oh, who can I help? What can I do? Where can I move my business? And I still feel that way, because there's still so much I can do every single day to grow my business and to help people. And that's just fulfilling. It's changed our families' lives, and I want to help other people's lives change in that same way. So waking up excited was huge. They also talk about, though, that the people of this industry are excited about what they're doing and who they're doing it with. But I believe that there are people that are more effective and more helpful in building momentum in your business and helping you move forward than others. I don't know if one of you wants to take those 4 types of people, but.
Well, I mean, I didn't like any of them, but the last one. It was a good, you get someone back there. Hi.
And we've seen them all.
Yeah. May we all check ourselves and only be momentum makers, for sure. But I think this goes to say, if we all think back early, and this is anyone who's new in network marketing, is we can't drag those that aren't as in momentum or as excited, or we can't want what's more for people than they want for themselves, I guess would be a better way to say that. And he just said that in a completely different way by making those categories. And it's a lot more fun to be around people who are excited about what you're excited about, just like it's a lot more fun to be around people with your same interests and hobbies. And so if we can focus on momentum, not only for ourselves, but those around us, I think it could be a whole lot more powerful in our teams and in our organizations.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that the last sentence, and you get to decide what type of person you'll be, determine how to be a momentum maker. And I think we all need to take more responsibility in that, and be the ones that are always growing and love what we do and why we do it, and wake up with excitement. And if we aren't in that place, we need to take it upon ourselves to get back in that place, because we are the ones that will jumpstart our own momentum. When we wait for others to do it, it just isn't going to work. So if you are the momentum maker, it will trickle down. So I'm grateful for that challenge in this industry too.
Yes. All right. Number 7.
Failure is your friend. We referenced strengths earlier. So for those of you that have achiever in your top strength, this is a hard one to swallow, myself included, Lynn. One thing somebody said to me, it's not in John's book, but I think it's super important to share, is I was working with a growth coach, and if any of you guys need a reference on that, I can definitely send her information over to you. But I was working with a growth coach last year because growth matters, chapter number 1. But one of the things she asked me, which was so interesting to me, is she asked me to make a list of my failures within the last few months. And you guys, I'm embarrassed to admit this, but I stared at the blank piece of paper for way longer than I should have, because I couldn't think of a failure. And again, I don't say that to be, prideful or arrogant. I say it because what she said to me after that rings so true. And it may, resonate with some of you listening to the call, is that if you haven't failed lately, you're not doing epic enough stuff, right? You're not getting out of your comfort zone, which was also one of the things we've already discussed. But what you need to learn is failure is your friend. And I know Laura often says, fail forward. And that's the key here. Don't be scared of failure. It doesn't mean that you're not successful. It doesn't mean that if you fail at something, that you're a failure as an individual. Absolutely not. It's what you do with that learning experience that makes you the leader and the boss babe or dudette, dude, that you are going to be, right? So it's taking that in and learning from it and growing.
That's powerful. Thanks for sharing that. That's fascinating, and I can resonate with that. I mean, Laura, you spoke to this morning just on social media, how powerful it is to learn from our mistakes. I mean, that fit in perfectly with this chapter. Smile.
Yep, and that's what he says. How do you know when failure is your friend? When you value the lesson it teaches you. And sometimes it's hard to see when you're going through it, but always taking that time to be like, okay, I know, if nothing else, staying in that positive mindset, I know that this hard time is going to keep me, teach me something. I'm going to learn something from this, and always looking for the lesson in it. And that's something and how cool is it for us in this industry? We get paid to fail. Like, we get paid to fail. I want you to understand that. We don't have to learn everything. We don't have to have a network marketing degree before we even jump in. We just start. We put amazing products in our body that change our lives, and we start sharing and start understanding this industry, and we're going to fail a lot, but we can get paid on the way. That is epic and amazing to me. So I love that.
Very good reminder. You don't get that much grace in the real world at all, right?
No.
Big mistakes can cost some lives for sure. But thank you, both of you, for being such great people and humans and teammates in my life that allow failure to be acceptable and okay, and embracing it. And sometimes you have to point it out for others as well. This falls under like the category of constructive criticism, which, we go through that and we become better business people for sure. So number 8, others are growing. One of the line I highlighted in this chapter or in this topic here was, I quickly discovered that growth is the great separator between those who succeed and those who do not. And I had specifically written down when we were in Atlanta with John, we flipped the page, that your commitment to growth, no matter where you are, is what's going to lead to success. And so you can look at your teammates, you can look at other even people in your life outside of your organization and recognize whether they're growing and succeeding, or they're absolutely not growing and not succeeding. And the two synonymously go hand in hand. So I kind of took it outside of my team and organization and really thought about different wonderful people in my life and kind of double checked that whole concept. And it's true. I don't want to be like that.
No. And it's growth is the highest reward. Well, growth's highest reward is not what you get from it, but what you become because of it. And I think sometimes it's so often because it's one of those intangible things that we can't always see. But I just encourage you to be excited being a part of a network marketing organization, because everybody around you will want to grow. If they want to continue to succeed and move forward and grow their business, they're going to have to grow in some way, shape, or form. So you will be around people who are growing, which will inevitably motivate you to grow yourself.
Exactly.
Definitely. On to number 9.
Yes.
People desire change. First line, here's the good news. It only takes one person to change your life, you. It also takes one person to change somebody else's life. And you have that gift in network marketing to get out of your comfort zone and all the other bullet points we've listed here in order to change that person's life that's so deserving of this opportunity. But he really highlights desperation changes, inspiration changes, and what that looks like in network marketing and in a growth environment. It says people desire change either out of desperation or inspiration. Both at times have motivated me to make personal changes. And then goes on to explain what those look like. I really think that when it comes to change, people can be scared of change just like they are of growth. So I'm really glad that this is a subset of this chapter. But what's the most important thing is that you really take the time to identify what that change could look like for you. And change isn't always negative, just like failure isn't always negative, and really wrapping your mind around that.
Well, and when I think about, Laura, why you started network marketing and Isogenics was more of, I mean, you were desperate for something, desperate for a change, desperate to change your family's finances. There was such a, and not in a bad way, but such a dire need. And then I think about why Chelsea and I started at the moments we did and joined you, Laura, was because of inspiration. We were inspired by what you were able to do, how good and happy and you looked and felt on these products and what you were already able to do with your finances. And it was a level of inspirational change that I look back and I'm like, well, my life was desperate for something, but I didn't know it at the time. And that both those totally different reasons for change can yield the same result, or an incredible result, I should say the same. And that you said it doesn't have to be bad. Change doesn't have to be bad. And change is really hard for my personality. And I know a lot of type A personalities, because we always deem it as scary or having to learn something new. But at the heart of it all, if you view it as positive, then greater things and more blessings will come. But that's where I went with that subset is, oh my gosh, this is why Laura started. This is why I started. This is why Chelsea started. And it was for one of those two reasons that he says.
And he ends with, millions of people will give credit to network marketing for reigniting their personal flame. So if you are somebody that is sitting there wanting more, wanting to have a flame reignited, wanting to just have that fire for life, being excited, ready to make a change, this is the place for you, 100%.
I love that.
The last we're going to end with growth is modeled and expected. We've kind of talked a lot about growth. I don't think we need to go into this too much, but I kind of want to go back down. And if you are a part of an organization right now and you are in network marketing, I want you to kind of think about if your organization provides a place where others are ahead of you, you're continually challenged, your focus is forward, your atmosphere is affirming, you are out of your comfort zone, you wake up excited, failure is not your enemy, others are growing, you desire to change, and growth is modeled for you and expected. So I think that that's something that we can all really expect to get from our network marketing experiences. And if you are not in a place or you haven't plugged in enough into organizations or teams or whatever to experience those things, I challenge you to do so. Whether it's get a mentor, whether it's plug more into your team pages, and if you don't have that, create it. Because it can start with you. You have all these 10 things that you can implement into your business, that you can bring, that will add growth to not only your life, that will help your company, that will help your teammates. It's all right here for you. But again, as he said, the change starts with you, growth starts with you. So I want you to reflect upon maybe some of those aspects that you already have and find that gratitude for those within your organization, or move forward thinking, gosh, this is what I want to implement because I would like to have more of this in order to propel more growth within my business.
Perfect. It's a great action item. At the end of the day, growth matters, and it will make you a better person because of it, a better family member, son, daughter, mom, brother, sister, teammate, business partner. And that's what's exciting, but it's committing to it and finding the right vehicle. And we live in a world full of options, from podcasts to webinars to book studies to events, both within and outside of your very own company. There's so many amazing motivational speakers and entrepreneurs that host fabulous events, and then coaches, much like Chelsea referenced, growth coaches, strength coaches, you name it. So there's plenty of options, and we hope that you find your perfect next option today.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us. This should be to you on a Wednesday. We look forward to seeing you again next week to go over the next chapter, which is on
Yeah. Yay. All righty. Thank you, ladies. We appreciate it all.